Has the Big Mac been invented yet? What about the Whoppers?
Hit the Whopper button.
I could go for a Baconator right about now. I'm just doing fucking Nixon.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I mean that's it is kind of what I'm doing. I'm doing Nixon mixed with like Churchill.
Yeah.
So if there was 3 balloons, why aren't there 3 balloons in the diagram?
There was.
There was, yeah, right?
I don't know. Someone's gaslighting us.
Yeah, it feels like it. Let me just, you know what? Let me look over everything really quick.
Lost cat, no.
Right, the lost cat. And then there's the... How is this a color photo, by the way? That's remarkable. That's incredible that that's a color photo. And there's that. Okay. Okay. So I'll just... expand on this. It would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Loon, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky?
Are you an idiota?
Yes.
That's just like asking why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright, and a balloon flies because it flies. What else?
Well, that's not helpful. That must be Italian for I don't know. How do you not know how your balloons work?
Listen, he's just a businessman, okay? He's not some
He's just the face of the company.
There are 2 types of flying balloons, hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air, whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air. See, my balloons are filled with a magic gas, I believe.
The magic gas.
Hydrogen. Lighter than air, but highly explosive.
Aha! Good lord! Great Scott!
I do not permit the smoking of the cigarettas in any of my balloons. The magic gas does not like a fire.
Stop calling it magic gas.
Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode.
Seems bad. Seems like a bad balloon. Not a good balloon to have and be in.
What's the matter with you, senor? All that comes out of your mouth is explosion. I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat.
Great.
You're trying to make Potazero Luna on the street? I'm gonna lose my business because of
Fenzeeks is taking the food right out of his fucking mouth.
Yeah. You steal the meatballs right into my stomach. None of my balloons exploded that day. I am completely sure. But if you still say that's what happened, you must show me the proof.
Give me the evidence. Alright, so Mr. Loon had 3 balloons in the air that day. If none of them were damaged, then... God damn. That catches me off guard every single time.
So fucking fair.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, I left the stove on again. If none of them were damaged, then what was the one that exploded? Okay. Yeah, this is true. I was surprised to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues?
Nah. I'm not into picking stuff up the ground, me.
That's literally your entire job!
Always works out way better. Diving into people's pockets instead.
Great.
Cool.
So much for the new career path.
Mind you, the boss was on his hands and knees, picking up all kinds of rubbish from the floor. Thing is, though, Page went crashing into the Crystal Tower, didn't it? That's where most of the investigating was going on.
Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence.
Or listen to you. You stumble across a balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world.
We literally pointed it out to you when we were there and you didn't take it. Pardon?
Well, you ain't got a badge, have you? Like this one. I could arrest you with this if I wanted to.
Yeah, I guess so.
She is the worst cop, but that makes
She's-
her the best
I
cop.
know, right? I wouldn't put it past her.
Like, in fiction, the more openly crooked and awful a cop is, the funnier they are.
Yeah, like Dick Gumshoe.
Yeah,
Like, Dick Gumshoe is, like, objectively bad at his job, but that means he's a
Yeah.
good cop.
like obviously a cab in real life, and like you need to be aware of the effect that propaganda has on the public perception
Yes.
of the industry. That being said, like if a cop on a show says like, I don't know, pal, it's gonna take a lot of bribes to clear this one up, like that's funny.
Yeah,
That's objectively hilarious.
it is funny. It's also why Wiggum is funny. That's true.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so true.
Come to think of it.
That one line that Wiggum has, where Marge is like, I thought you said the law was powerless to help me. He's like, powerless to help you, not punish you.
Yeah, yeah. That's such a good line.
Yeah.
Come to think of it. There was talk of some scorching on the ground at a meeting we had about the investigation.
Yeah? Oh. Yeah, right. Okay. There was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area, wasn't there?
Yeah, some of the coves what were watching the experiment caught in the blast and injured.
Oh.
Good job the old contraption didn't keel over, eh?
I hadn't even considered that.
It seems there was a great panic after the incident occurred.
Yeah, people did what they do and they fucking groupthink, ran over each other like it's fucking Black Friday.
Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of the envelope from a balloon.
Correct.
Inspector Gregson can expect repercussions.
Yeah, of course. Oh my god, Gregson is the gumshoe of this game.
Like me swiping all his fish and chips, eh?
The man's sole pleasure.
There's one joy in life. None of this matters. That scrap of balloon envelope means nothing. Niente.
Well, clearly it means something. You mean the color is wrong?
Si, senor. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse.
And yet, a piece of green cloth was found at the scene. And it's unmistakably from a balloon.
Well, I do not know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question.
Why not?
There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier date. Unfortunate, as I'm sure you would agree.
You believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition?
Si, exactamente. As the senor says, it's not from one of my balloons. Clearly, this little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw.
He's about to start, like, all-out war.
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Master Gotts?
It's Master Wilhelm Gottsreich Sigismund Ormstein.
I'm not saying all that. It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon there. I swear it. I swear all over Bohemia. You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing.
I want this little German boy to say fuck.
If you do not have evidence or ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh?
Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments.
Mr. King of Bohemia, tend this little boy's a hide. Spank him until he cannot see you straight.
No. Oh my god.
Evidence? What is this evidence?
To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance. Some tangible proof of what you claim.
Well, why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph here.
Oh. Good gracious! What?
I had not been up in the balloon for a little while, so I was very excited.
Whoa!
I took lots and lots of photographs of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the hot eel cellar, the balloon.
A hot eel
The
cellar.
hot eel cellar.
A hot eel.
And the instantaneous kinesis experiment. Did you take a picture of that?
Yeah, one picture.
Really? You did take one.
But all I wanted was a ride in a balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments.
That's probably for the best. Never mind that. Can you show us that photograph?
Of course. And then you will see.
Like, he's holding it up like it's a Legend of Zelda item.
You will see that I am not lying, that I really did see a green balloon.
Fuck.
Belle, I see you are too shocked to speak.
Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man.
Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that it was a green balloon from this photograph, but... But that is not my fault. This is the fault of the stupid person who made the camera.
Oh no, he's crying! That's a good bit.
That's really good.
That is one very bohemian sounding cry. Very well. The court will accept this photograph as evidence. Holy shit. How are you doing that with your mouth?
What that even sound like?
I don't even know what that would sound like.
Yeah, I can't even perceive of that. It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera.
Here, let me look at this really quick. Is somebody shooting a laser at the balloon?
That's what it looks like.
It sure is what it looks like, right? I have my little magnifying glass. Hell yeah. Look at that man. Look at that man. He's
There's the
standing
guy.
awfully rigid.
Yeah, he is like, yeah.
He's basically in an A pose right there, like. But that is interesting to me, because I do have... What's happening over here? There's another little German boy!
They're everywhere. They're spreading.
They're spreading! Okay. Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph?
Well, it was on the day of the big explosion.
Yeah, no shit. You don't say.
When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang. And a hot wind rushed over my face.
That means... this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred.
Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing.
No, this is actually vital key piece of evidence right here.
I could not give the flying fig.
Wow! Lovely language you've picked up. Yeah, as I thought, Mr. Loon's testimony doesn't quite add up. The young Bohemian boy claims to have seen another fourth balloon, but Mr. Loon vehemently denies the possibility. And it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. Is there anything that I didn't press here? I don't think so.
Go to the last...
The last statement?
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
I mean... it is really hard to tell from this photo, though, because the zigzag could just be higher up.
But, like, if we assume that they're the same pattern as the ones on his outfit, then it'd be more obvious, right?
Yeah, it would be lower down. Yeah. No?
Chat?
Apparently not. No, fuck.
Oh, no.
Shut up, Ryunosuke! Okay. Oh, wait!
Oh yeah, there we go. Beauty.
Unfortunately, the photograph Mr. Master Gods took can't tell us the picture of the balloon. But it can tell us something else. Something crucially important.
What?
Hey, it's been a while, Van Zeeks. Were you napping?
He's been saying they're doing his nails.
It shows that the picture balloon wasn't carrying any passengers. Oh, my goodness, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise.
See, they are for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers so they can get themselves off. It's for pleasure, like I said.
Which tells us that the picture balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon.
But I know nothing, Niente. I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying a passenger, then it was not one of mine.
Oh yeah, that little German boy's proportions are fucked up.
There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition. I managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Loon's patch without him realizing. See, the competizione is trying to steal my profits.
You'd think you'd notice, right? Like, he was there, right?
You would think.
You would think you would notice.
I did not notice because of the experimental that went wrong on the stage.
Oh, I love when the game reads my mind.
That's how I missed it for several hours.
Clearly. This fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Asman was beamed from the stage below.
Right. Some scraps that fell to the ground after and left them scorched marks. They didn't come from the stage at all. It was the bits of the balloon raining down. Because no one was in it. It didn't get no attention.
A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers, silently floating over the experimentation stage. Wait, hold on. Is this supposing, then, that there was a person in the balloon and they used the crossbow to assassinate Asman?
No, whatever that bolt is, looks like it's coming from the ground.
It looks like it does look like it's coming from the ground, but like, what could that possibly be?
Well, Van Zeeks thinks that the explosion was caused by the victim rematerializing and falling into the crystal tower, right?
Yeah, which is clearly not, because somebody shot the balloon. But like, I'm not even thinking about like right now. I'm thinking about like, why is this balloon here and why was it shot down?
I mean, the irrefutable fact that you know is that there was an explosion and someone fell out of that explosion onto the crystal tower.
Oh! Okay. Right. So then... It sucks that this is covered in smoke. That's unfortunate. Yeah, okay, so... Theoretically, somebody is faking a really elaborate death. Like, they may have killed... No, but then we would know that, right? Because then we... So it's not as though somebody already had Asman's body and dropped it. Because he died at the time of the experiment. At least we... But this is the first autopsy report to have the coroner on it. Which would then lead me to question why the coroner is on the autopsy report if they're not going to be a character that we talk to. This is a weird mystery.
Any layer.
Yeah. A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers silently floating over the experimentation stage.
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader. Clearly it has nothing to do with the case.
Its relevance does elude me, I must say.
The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be
Wait,
concluded.
whoa, what? No! No! Are you crazy? Oh, they're bored. Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there anything more we can learn from it? There's more! Look at the really obvious part of it! Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait! Please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Gotts may well be hiding one more vital clue.
That.
A vital clue!
He looks like a Muppet there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? I was thinking that exact same thing.
We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now. So tell the court, what exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove?
We can reasonably assume that the pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was not my fault.
Well, now I think it was your fault.
Evidently. Because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying.
Hiccup.
And the balloon, being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantly and explosively ignited.
Vince's hiccup. So cute.
No, that's not what happened.
No.
What?
It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court. Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. You don't even have to look closely. And what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have. In a way that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests the real reason the balloon exploded is this thingy. This thing. Oh, I have to press Y to present that. The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon.
Most likely a ray of light caused incidentally on the film.
I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort.
Are you familiar with the Madonna song, my learned friend?
No. Which Madonna song?
Ray of light.
Oh. If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright line really is. I imagine that's the judge. Goodness, what is that? Undeniably some flash of light, yes.
Oh golly, do you think it might be lightning?
Yeah, it's orb lightning. Ball lightning.
Ball lightning.
But it couldn't have been a finer day.
I believe he may be looking at fire.
Bolt of fire headed straight for the balloon. Like an arrow.
Huh. Indeed, even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word! Are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon?
Objection!
That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what did happen.
What evidence?
I'm getting you back for withholding evidence, bitch. If such evidence exists, Counsel, then for goodness sake, present it, man! Come on!
Oh my god!
I'm on the edge of my seat! That. This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene. Good lord! Is that a crossbow? An arrow dipped in oil and set alight could have been shot from this weapon, sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon.
Are you suggesting that crossbow was used to deliberately...
Blimey, you're right. Streak of light in the photo looks just like an arrow, done it?
Then, the explosione of the balloon, it was...
Very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow igniting the hydrogen gas inside it.
No!
Get fucked, idiot. I win.
Order! Counsel, this is an extraordinary supposition.
If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question.
Noise of the discharge, of course.
That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently.
Well, yeah. If someone had shot a gun off in the exhibition grounds, it would have caused a real panic.
Yeah, almost like... just the same as an explosion would have, I suppose, at the exact same moment, so it really wouldn't have mattered.
With the big explosione, there was a very big panic anyway, no?
It happened again, didn't it? Oh, my controller unplugged. There you go. I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong.
Objection!
You understand the implications of what you're saying, my Nipponese friend?
If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued...
Well, wait a minute. What are you really saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beamed up into the sky after
Wait!
all?
Holy
Or-
shit! Oh my god! I just realized what may have happened. They shot the balloon, and then instant transmission happened, and he got shot with the crossbow bolt. That's fucking stupid. That's like ridiculous.
My goodness me!
Ah, now I understand. That's what that sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance he got telefragged, yeah. That the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along. Oh, that also makes sense. Man, I just imagine that like fully like a trick shot. Like he teleported and they got him as it, yeah.
The dubstep starts playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Sick Call of Duty.
Yeah.
What? Did I just hear that correctly, Counsel?
There's no going back now. Horse has bolted.
Horse is here.
Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experimentation was started, the birdcage and the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground. But where did the cage go then? Causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. See, the fucked up thing about this case is that when we learn something new, I'm not even thinking about the present moment. I'm thinking about, like, why? For what? So, which is so much further down the line.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what's the point? Like, like... Are we to assume that this is actually his body?
Presumably, yes.
Yeah. But I have reason to suspect that it's not. Which would then mean that the forensic investigation team passed off a wax figure as a real dead body for some reason. Which would then...
You definitely don't have all the information yet.
Yeah. But it's just like... Because we saw him get into the birdcage.
Yes.
Obviously.
Correct.
So him that ended up on the Crystal Tower is not the same guy. It has to be a different guy. Assuming, of course, that the birdcage was in the balloon with him in it.
Yeah.
From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared to fall down and crash into the Crystal Tower. I think you'll all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day. Now I'm thinking also... Because Asmon was investing in this, right?
Yeah.
So maybe this was the point of him investing in it.
This is ludicrous. What you've described is no science experiment. It's child's play. A contemptible display of stage magic.
Oh, is that why we have a magician on the jury? Both Mr. Sholmes and Iris said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility. In which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day.
And in any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the Crystal Tower.
Yeah, you're right. And that's weird.
If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that?
Exactly. Like, what we are doing is that we are assuming that the evidence that we've been given is credible.
Yeah.
If I may put in a word, as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies could easily be explained by some simple deception.
I love his eyeliner. It's so
I know!
hunting.
He's got the whole Jack Sparrow shtick going on there. Juror number 3. All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Asmon. And having this other man appear on stage to front the show as a body double, like the great Malini. Yes, of course. So in fact, Mr. Asmon must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed in a balloon right from the start.
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen.
Also that! I hadn't even considered that! There's no way he was in the balloon!
Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to the four winds when it exploded.
Or suffocated to death first!
I don't know if they know that about hydrogen yet. No one would have ever embarked on such a risky venture.
Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend upon the mixture ratio. Juror number 4. We actually have useful jurors today.
I know.
Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered.
The mixture ratio.
Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns. That would be unavoidable. Huh. But not to such an extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible.
Nice deployment of charade.
Yeah, I felt like something he would say. Well, this also calls into question then if this is theoretically a wax figure, it would have melted.
Yeah.
At least somewhat.
Or if it fell into the tower, it would have just shattered.
Yeah, that's true. But then who or what the fuck is this? I guess there's no reason it would have had to have... Is this... So, okay. This photo was taken from inside the Crystal Tower, right?
Yes.
So this could have been here the entire time.
It could have.
But we are assuming that it was in the balloon. Which... It would have had to have been for the crossbow bolt to have hit him.
I mean, hey, something had to crash through the window of the tower.
Yeah. Like, obviously, if the balloon exploded, he would probably just drop straight down, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could explain that with, like, the force of the explosion, maybe, but then at that point, there'd be some melting or burning. It's a real, this one's a real pickle.
Pickle.
So everything that happened can be explained, logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception, to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred.
Well, goodness me.
And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asman, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with. But that can't possibly be, because, like, it was a moving individual. He walked into the cage. In short, but it could be a doppelganger, I guess. He couldn't have been killed by the defendant, who was on stage in full view the entire time.
Ah!
He's having a heart attack.
Could be a doppelganger. This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Van Ziegs can't credibly maintain that Professor Harebrain is a suspect now. Oh no. Hi, are you here? Are you here to ruin things again?
Mr. Naruhodo, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Professor?
You can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please.
I'm helping you. Sorry?
What's all this about, Mr. Harebrain?
I, Albert Harebrain, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Odie Asman. Yes, it was me, with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver.
What are you doing?
Order! Defendant, explain the sudden confession.
Professor Harebrain, what are you talking about?
It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypothesis and my precious machine. You stand there and claim it was all a trick, all an elaborate prank, but where's your proof? No. You'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it would all be over. My beautiful hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it.
It's clear that you drew the plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you'll just let me, I can...
Brock,
Yes.
I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it. I'll be your little bitch.
No!
So please. Ensure the special dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act is adhered to and protect my creation. A toast.
I win.
Are there any artists in the gallery? If so, pray, you draw me as the Chad and my learned
No!
friend as the Wojak.
No! That's what he said, though.
Here's to my learned Nipponese friend
What?
and his upcoming attempts to clarify the defense's position in the light of the accused's confession. Do you intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick?
There was no ghosts.
Because the moment you do, the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply.
Bro, I'm gonna be so real with you. I don't fucking care.
The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth.
And?
However, if you acknowledge the machine is genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder, any chance of investigating will be crushed and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis preserved.
Well, counsel, what is the defense's official position on this matter?
What Professor Hairbrain, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. But there's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I uphold the client's request but see him condemned? Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust.
Put him in the pit.
You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend?
Yours too?
Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind?
Okay,
That might
hey,
be-
Christ.
Dude.
That might be the most racist thing you said so far.
Dude, I thought we were cool. I visited you at your office. We had a good talk.
I fed your bats.
My
Oh,
God.
there it is. The famous Phoenix pose.
Yeah, there it is.
Mr. Naruhodo.
It truly is hereditary. There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. But it's an impossible one. I have to give up on something. But what? The defense asserts that the defendant's instantaneous kinesis machine was, in fact... It's the truth. Ah! No, I can't say it. My client places faith in me. I can't just let him down. Why are you for real? Who? Hello? Hello? Yeah! The girlie's here! Hold on, we'll say those ones.
What must I give up on is not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's what can I protect? Hello again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long.
Susato-san!
Yeah, her objection theme.
But what are you...
Hiya!
Ow. Ow! My first Susato takedown in 6 months!
It'll be time to talk later, Mr. Naruhodo. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand. I know I just threw you, but
It's
whatever.
Susato Sunday, everybody. It's Susato Sunday Wednesday.
It's Weird Girl Wednesday.
Yeah! Which is working out not what I have to give up on, but what I can protect.
Ooh.
Professor Hairbrain,
Yes?
yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too.
Yes, of course.
And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Asman. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is what we must both pursue now.
Ah. Yoink.
Why?
So, you finally opened your eyes.
What?
And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer. Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say?
Barrock.
I'm full of shit. Lord Van Zeeks.
Gosh, I've never heard him speak that way before. In truth, there is one thing. Something I've remembered that's of
Oh,
relevance.
that's why you took both of those witnesses, Mina, because you knew that Susato would be back.
Yeah.
Susato.
I didn't want Alcassi to be talking to herself all day.
Yeah, that's fair. What?
On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage.
Okay.
A man holding that crossbow.
I beg your pardon.
Professor, did the man have any distinguishing features? What did he look like?
Taller than me, and thinner than me. With straight hair. Straighter and whiter than mine.
Sephiroth?
Sephiroth!
Let me see. One less lens than me, a monocle, a rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to positively identify the man. You see, I know him very well. After all, he is the engineer who built my invention.
What?
The killer. He built the machine?
That's right. Mr. Asmund introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of
Shelly the Killer.
Enoch Drebber.
Enoch Drebber is sure is a name.
It's actually a Sherlock Holmes name.
Oh, Enoch
Drebber. Does this name mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered.
Not a name any scientist wishes to hear.
The man's an abomination. Not a name any conjurer wishes to hear either.
Who on earth is he?
I'm afraid this isn't the first tale of this nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name.
You know what I've just realized now?
Uh-huh.
Sholmes doesn't have a Moriarty. As far as we know yet.
Well, what was the name of that famous serial killer?
Ottermole.
No, the one whose wax figure was stolen.
Oh, I don't think we know. I don't think we looked.
No, they said it. He had a nickname.
Fuck, what was it?
I can just say it because you
Yeah,
you
say
are
it.
supposed to know
I did read it, probably.
The professor.
Oh. Oh. Wait. Well, that changes everything. That changes absolutely everything.
There's talk about the flamboyant experiments that turn out to be nothing but staged trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascal is after the government's research grant money.
When magicians are in need of money, I have heard of them resorting to these underhand tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before.
The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with an unparalleled confidence trickster here. That's Enoch Drebber for you.
I kind of love when the game just like calls it shot. It's like, yeah, this is the guy you're after.
Yeah.
But how did you no fucking pin it? Make it stick.
Wow. Okay.
So it's true then. My invention, my great machine, it was just a grand illusion.
I feel like I'm starting to put together a motive here.
Uh-huh.
If Odie Asmund is dead, and Hairbrain is in jail, and it's proven that the machine is a success, then this Enoch Drebber would get all the grant money.
He'd make off like a bandit.
He would. That was, I feel like that was the last missing piece of, like, why this happened in the first place. Considering what we've just heard about Mr. Drebber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely.
Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted.
Which is why you were so opposed to it being investigated, I presume.
I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen. But at the same time, I knew that if it was found to be nothing more than a trick, than a work of deception, then everything I'd worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over.
You know, I can actually understand it.
Yeah, but his whole
Like-
life is also over if he goes to jail and gets hung. Or hanged, rather.
He's at least immortalized as the guy who successfully
That's-
discovered teleportation,
That's
and not the
true, but...
not the stupid idiot who got tricked and, you know, dedicated his
Yeah.
life to a joke.
But, like, that's true in the short term. But, like, eventually somebody would have to look into it and see that it doesn't work.
Maybe, but I don't think he's a very long-term thinker. I think he was just clinging to the hope that it was real. Like, he couldn't accept that his entire life has been worthless.
Yeah... I guess.
I was terrified at the prospect.
So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built. And the true nature of Mr. Drebber.
I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it.
And Odie Asman is the one who introduced Drebber to him.
Yeah.
Huh. It's entirely possible that Mr. Asman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money.
It was their mark.
Yeah.
When I announced my invention to the crowds that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Drebber had described. The smoke suddenly started billowing out. I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know how this whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore.
Hmm. And there's still some pieces that don't quite fit, but this is, like, progress.
Yeah. Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Science Equipment Act?
Man, everybody has trouble saying that one.
It's a tongue twister.
It's
Too many-
long.
Too many words.
Too many words.
Yes. Please go ahead. I'm very sorry.
Well, case closed.
Yay!
We did it!
I just feel like it was Enoch Drebber.
Yep.
Who is he? Where
Who is
he?
he?
No, that's not my problem.
It would appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now. Lord Van Zeeks,
My lord.
the court has newly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical.
Yes, Mr. Drebber.
Gather information about the man. If possible, I should like him served with a subpoena.
With pleasure, my lord.
Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord.
Good hustle. When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused.
I understand.
Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning.
Man, this is actually a really fucking interesting case.
Right? It's so cool.
This is really good for a third case.
And I cannot wait for you to see Drebber. I think he's such a fucking fun antagonist.
Okay, I'm excited for that too.
Bless you.
Mr. Naruhodo,
That was a laugh. That was a giggle. Yes?
I'm so sorry.
You should be.
I was wrong. You were right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. Oh, how did it ever come to this? I'm so sorry.
You're good. Did you really have no idea, Professor? About what Mr. Drebber was really up to, I mean. About what he was really constructing.
Naturally. That machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis, of all my hopes and dreams. I had complete faith in it.
Alright, in that case, I won't say anymore. Now, sadly, the murder accusation against you still stands. So we must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow. You need better fitting glasses, dude.
Well, thank you for doing so much for me.
Are we gonna...
Okay, I go
Hi.
back to jail to
Hi,
sleep.
Susato.
I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruto.
I didn't think you were arriving at all! Arriving late?
Didn't you receive my postcard? I wanted to let you know when I'd arrive.
Postcard? What postcard?
I hid it from you, Runo, so it would be a surprise.
Thanks, Iris.
Well, did it work?
I was surprised, alright, especially when she threw me to the ground.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that I would have slipped out.
It's fucked up
I
that...
must flip all the men in my life.
It's fucked up that her disguise isn't an alternate costume.
I know, it should be.
Yeah,
That'd
it's
be so
weird.
cute.
Maybe we could stick to more traditional displays of emotion in future?
Susie's train was late to London. And to London Victoria this morning, you see? We made the coachman really whip the horses hard so she didn't miss the whole trial.
Poor horses?
Fuck those horses.
Iris hates horses.
Honestly, mood, I can appreciate that.
Me too!
you people and your horse hate.
They're not real anyway, it doesn't matter.
I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
Oh,
Having you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win. So, I'm, delighted to see you back in London.
oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm delighted to be here.
That's a nice moment of Ryunosuke just sincerely expressing feelings.
It's great, yeah.
I hope I can continue to be of service to you.
Of course. So, what's brought you back? Did Professor Mikotoba not protest?
Let's leave all that conversation for when we're back at home, shall we? You know, I made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion.
Hell yeah!
Oh, Iris, how wonderful! Can't wait.
Susato-san was back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time. But despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. Right into the clutches of one Moriarty, no doubt.